Hi, I recently watched videos from Billy Carson and the Y Files where they say that Anunnaki beings created us humans here on Earth. So who are we praying to under the three Abrahamic religions? Thank you. As usual, we always say to people, when people put out information, you have to address your questions, concerns to them, because we really defend or clarify or expound on or give you clarity on the teachings of our master teacher, on the teachings of Wu-Sabat. You see, so you have to really ask Billy Carson questions. However, when you say the Anunnaki beings created us, this is one of those words, little words like we and us are small, but very impactful, because who is the us? So people tend to think that when you say us, it's applying to everyone. It doesn't apply to everyone. A lot of people know about the Anunnaki, but they don't know about the Natharu, our ancestors that were here first, the original. Okay, so when you say beings created us, you're referring to gravitations, and many different gravitations took place, not just from the Anunnaki, right? But the Anunnaki and the Pleiadians, they were responsible. When we say gravitation or being created, you create things from that which already exists. To create is to take something and then expound or expand it and grow it. So yes, it's not referring to, I don't know who, when you say us, you have to be very specific, because the Adamites are a specific species that were created, a hybrid species, because you have to take what already exists. And the Anunnaki took, beings that were evolving naturally and already existed, and then injected their DNA and produced what they referred to as a Lulu Amilu, or a primitive worker, okay? Because when they came here and settled in a place and called it Iridu, which means home away from home, they started to mine gold, because that was their purpose. But they found that the atmosphere and the work was strenuous and very hard for them to do. So they went about creating a being that was going to be a slave or primitive worker to help them mine the gold. So when you say, who are we praying to? Then we have to address prayer, or what is prayer? What's the purpose of prayer? And what is the need for prayer? Who are you praying to? And why does, I don't know who you're referring to, God, Allah, whatever name you're using, why do they need prayers if they already know your thoughts and your mind, and they know what you think, and they know everything, as they claim? So what is the purpose of praying? And you say under the three Abrahamic religions, the beings you're praying to under the three Abrahamic religions are these Anunnaki beings, okay? And the monotheistic religions, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, they are all one and the same in terms of the names that you're calling on. And, whether you say Yahweh, whether you say Allah, whether you say Adonai, Jehovah, Elohim, all of these names are describing these beings, and each one can be explained and broken down. You say Yah and Weh, you're dealing with agreeable and disagreeable, or seraphim and cherubim. Elo or Elohim is dealing with a group of beings, and the Elo would be one, singular. And then you're dealing with Enki and Enlil. When you're saying Baal, all these names you're using like Yahweh, Baal, these are referring to Enlil and Enki. And sometimes it's a group of beings where it's relating to, you know, more than one. You see, when you say God, you're really, or Allah, you're really saying Anu. That's who you're referring to. And he would be their father. So when you're asking that question, you're really, that's why we're saying to you that you have to know which specific being you're calling on, and what name you're using, what tone, what vibration that gives, and what you're invoking when you're using those tones, you see. So to answer your question directly again, address whatever Billy Carson is putting out to him. And many people are now talking about the Anunnaki beings creating, as you said, humans, but you have a hierarchy of beings, from supreme being to human being to human, to man to mankind, to beast, to demons, ghouls, all types of beings that are being addressed and referred to and spoken about in these books. And these books were taken from the Anunnaki stories or the Sumerian stories, the Tablet of Creation, the Enuma Elish, the Gilgamesh epics, the Atrahasis. There's so many tablets that have been uncovered, and you get pieces of the story through them. You're dealing with, like I said, the epics of Gilgamesh and other stories, the stories that talk about Utnapishtim, So there are many tablets that deal with the stories that you now find in your Bible, Quran, and the books of today. All right. I hope that has helped you in some way.